Hello, we're back around the fire again. I want to take care of a couple things before I get started. First of all, I'm wanting to know how people feel about the name change. I haven't actually changed it on my channel yet, but we'll be going from Faithful Words to Around the Fire, which I do legitimately do around the fire, as you can see. When I can get it started, that is. I'm not great at getting fires to start. But what we'd be changing, it would be changing from Faithful Words to Around the Fire. Around the fire just seems a little more cozy sometimes. When you have people come to visit, do you go in the house or do you light a fire pit? Me personally, I light a fire pit a lot of times. Depending on who it is, some people don't like fire pits. So I want some input of the ones that's watching right now as to what you feel about the name change, keep it or change it. So I want to hear from all two of you that's subscribed. Hopefully there'll be more here before too long. Also, there's a couple of things apparently I'm supposed to tell you to hit a like button, a bell to let you know when I post some new material, and a subscribe, I think it is. I'm kind of new to the YouTube thing. I've watched it, but not familiar with actually doing it. So bear with me a little bit on that. Now, since all that's out of the way, we'll discuss what we're going to discuss. We're going to talk about arrows. Now, some of the ones watching, if you're associated with me, you've probably done a little hunting in your life and a little archery, things like that. There's one thing true to form. An arrow that is not true in flight is a worthless arrow. I don't care how nice that arrow looks. You can have the best made arrow there is. The nicest tips, the nicest feathers. But one little thing's out of whack on that arrow and it doesn't fly true, you wasted it. You're going to either miss your animal or you're going to lame your animal or miss the target, whatever archery form you might be taking. And you're not going to get anywhere. So, excuse me while I change positions if fire lights me. Sorry about that, but I was getting a little too much smoke. But this is true in life as well. Are you true in flight? I mean, you might be the most polished Christian, you might be the wealthiest person, you may talk a big talk, and may even most times walk a good walk. But are you true in flight? You know, you can talk about your kids being your center of attention, your whole world. I know people that say that, and then they pawn them off on someone else that they get a chance to. And that's not being true in flight. Being true in flight is being steady, being there. You don't have to be quick. The arrow don't have to be fast. The arrow don't have to be strong. It just has to stay true while flying. That's what we got to do. Now, I'm not talking like spiritual life or anything like that. I mean, that's true in spiritual life. You gotta be true in flight. But I'm talking about your essence, who you really are. You know, when you tell your child you're going to do something with them, do you do it? If not, that's not being true in flight. Are you there to be with your child when you have the chance? Maybe you're separated from the mother or separated from the father, as the case may be, and you have an opportunity to be there for your child. Are you there? Or do you go off drinking with your buddies, or playing video games, or go shopping with your friends? That's not being true in flight. Being true in flight is being there when you say you're going to be. Being true in flight is being there for your child when you have the chance. Being true in flight is being there for your parents when you have a chance. And I guarantee you, there will be a day when you regret that if you're not there for them. That I know. I know that very well. And many of us do. So I ask you to ask yourself this every day. Am I true in flight today? What am I going to do to keep myself true in flight? It may be Bible verse. It may be a meditation. It may be inspirational readings. Maybe it's this video that's helping you to stay true in flight. My only hope is that I can stay true in flight. And on these videos, I haven't so much because I've allowed myself to get discouraged. Discouragement is a form of not being true in flight. And I've allowed myself to get discouraged on these videos. But if they help one person, one time, they're worth my efforts. So You take a page out of my book and just keep yourself. When you aim your arrow, well, in most cases we are the arrow, I suppose. But when we're aimed, we are fired straight. The question is, do we stay straight? When your arrow leaves that bow, it's straight. It's flying straight right off the pin. But then it changes. Feather might be messed up. One of the tips might be off. It could be a slight bend. Any number of things. Just like with our life. It could be any number of things. It could be wanting to play a video game instead of spending time with your kid. It could be not taking your kid fishing because you want to go drinking with your buddies. You know, maybe you're not home on the weekend when you're off work to spend time with your family. All these are examples of not being true in flight. Now, there's a lot of things that will cause you not to be true in flight. I named a few of them: drinking with your buddies and stuff like that. Sometimes when you're not wanting to be true in flight, you're not wanting to be home, maybe you need to look at why. Because you want to find out what's causing you not to be true in flight before it becomes a problem. Now, this doesn't only apply to your home life. This applies to your work. You can go in there, and I've seen guys do it. They talk a big talk, oh, I can do this and I can do that. Okay, show me. Well, when they go to show you, they can't do it. They're not true in flight. Either they cannot or will not do it. When they go to do the work, they don't stay true in flight. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that, especially for someone that used to be true in flight that is no longer. I know in my own case, I started not being true in flight, and I started thinking there was something very wrong. Then I started seeing other things. Eventually, it led me to the fact that I had Parkinson's. Long story short. So, when you see someone's not true in flight, or you yourself are not true in flight, look into why. It might not be your fault. It might be something wrong with you. There might be an ailment. There might be a discouragement. Because discouragement is one of the quickest ways to take an arrow out of it being true in flight. That I know for a fact. You could be the best arrow there ever was. But unless you stay that way, you're not going to be true in flight. Not by any means. So, don't just assume, oh, well, it's just I'm not good enough. No, don't assume that. It may not have anything with you not being good enough. And that goes for those that's thinking of other people, too. If you know someone's not true in flight, don't just assume that they're a bad person. Don't just assume they've turned into a bad worker. Don't just assume that they've become a bad father. Maybe there's a reason. So you go and find out what that reason is. Be kind to ones that's true in flight because they may be having a problem you don't know about. Like I said with my case. No one knew. My bosses yelled at me for not getting my work done like I was supposed to, as good as I was supposed to, as quick as I was supposed to especially. My co-workers complained because I wasn't working up to par. And they forgot about when I first started there, how I did work. And never took a thought, well, there's something wrong. Until I started showing more pronounced symptoms. And some friends told me I should go to a doctor and find out what's going on. And then after a couple years battling, I don't know if anyone's ever dealt with this or not, but after a couple years battling, they finally figured out what it was. And all that time, my boss yelling at me, several bosses yelling at me because I wasn't doing my work, and all they saw was I wasn't being true in flight. But don't do that to the people. If you see that they're not true in flight, hey, what's going on? You feeling okay lately? That happened to my dad. My dad was a worker. He was there at work every day. All of a sudden, he started calling off work. We couldn't figure out why. It wasn't like Dad. He was a man who was true in flight. He would be there. He would be at his work. He provided for his family. He provided very well for his family. But all of a sudden, he started not wanting to go to work. We couldn't figure out why. Come to find out, he had cancer. It was making him sick. So you can't just assume that because they're not doing what they used to do, they're not doing as good. maybe they don't help around the house as good. Maybe they don't do as good work at work. Maybe they're not as strong in church as they used to be. They might at one time been a go-getter in church and slacked off and don't do as good. Now, there's some that's true in flight that would deceive you. And these are the ones that there's not something wrong with them necessarily. It's just that they don't want to be true in flight. You'll have people best dressed, upstanding person in the community and everything. You would look at that person, you'd swear they were true in flight. In reality, they're stealing money, embezzling money, maybe beating on their wife and kids, and you don't realize it. They're not true in flight. In that case, probably they don't want to be true in flight. But still, you want to look into when that happens all of a sudden, like, because it could be problems at home. Could be the wife getting beat. You want to make sure that if someone's like that, but you don't want to go nosing into their business, no. But do keep an eye on people that are in cases like that, because there could be something bad happening. It could be someone struggling. There's a lot of people struggling in this world, trying to be true, trying to be what they're supposed to be, and it's hard. So if you see someone like that, reach out to them. Let them know you're there. Let them know you can help them to be true in flight again. Because it's not a permanent situation. Well, in most cases mine is, but that's a different story when you talk about a disease or something like that. Sometimes it's permanent. But even that's not completely permanent, because they've done a lot for me to help me get around and everything. So I'm more true than what I used to be. Not true enough in flight to be in public work, but I can get some things done around the house a little bit that way. So, if you want to be true in flight, don't give up. So you go off target. You miss the bullseye. Okay, everyone misses the bullseye. Try again. You keep yourself flying towards that bullseye, and you're going to hit it. It just takes time. It takes encouragement. And if you're the one that's not true in flight, and you need help, reach out to people. Ask for help. You can ask your friends. You can post it on these videos here. If you need someone to talk to, someone to help you be true in flight, leave a comment on the videos. I will see it and I will respond. I mean, there's like 2 of you subscribed. It's not going to be hard to respond. But hopefully we'll have a few more. And even when we do have a few more, I'm still going to respond. And if I can't respond to all of them, I'll get as many as I can, and I'll try to get some people in position that can respond as well when I get that, if I ever get that big. Right now, I don't know, I kind of like the cozy little campfires and just a couple of us here. Also, another thing I want to bring up too is whether you guys like live video or recorded video. Right now I do recorded. I had to learn how to do live if you like it. But either way works for me. All I ask is that if you need anything, you need to talk, you need a friend, come and ask me, you come and talk to me. If you can be a friend, put that in the comments. Hey, if you're looking for a friend, whatever, you're there to talk. Because I know a lot of you have been through some of these things we talk about. And that's the thing, that's how we get, this is an inspirational channel, yes, but it's also like a support group, really. Hopefully we'll connect with each other and have things in common that we've been through. So don't be afraid to reach out at any time. That's all I have to say today. And anything you want to say, anything you want to add, comments are open. So feel free to add anything you want to say. And I look forward to reading your comments. I've actually been a little sad because I haven't seen any comments yet. I'd very much like to... Sorry about that, the smoke out my eyes. I very much would like to see some comments so I can see how y'all feel about what we're doing here. So leave me some comments, and like I said, like it, hit the bell that tells you that I'm putting new stuff out, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. You probably know the buttons better than I do by now if you're watching this. So yeah, God bless you, and you have a nice rest of your day, depending on or evening, depending on when I put this up. I'm gonna work on it here pretty shortly, and so it might be even this evening now have it on. But either way, nice. Have a nice rest of your day, rest of your evening, rest of your morning, whatever the case may be. Rest of your Christmas holiday if it takes me that long to get it uploaded. Yeah, it won't take that long. I'm slow, but I'm not that slow. So God bless you all, and stay open to people who need.